Good afternoon. Today we are going to go through and talk about positive pay. Going into the positive pay system, you will access it through online banking. Then it will take you into a screen very similar to this. You will see Exchange Bank's logo, positive pay system, and the banner message, and welcome to. Before we get started with a lot of the functionality that you will be utilizing on a daily basis, we are going to go ahead and talk about the website itself a little bit. So the website itself is browser-based, so no impact on your actual workstation as long as you have a browser that is supported by the company that produces that browser. You should be able to access positive pay. So for instance, the current versions of Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, Safari, we test with those, and those are all compatible with accessing positive pay. The first thing we're going to do is talk about the layout of the web page itself. So upon entering, you will see a menu on the left-hand side of the screen. Everything in blue are what we call menu headers or system classifications. You can expand and condense those menu headers simply by clicking on those menu headers, and it does condense the menu down. You can then also expand those by re-clicking those menu headers and looking at the functionality beneath them. As you scroll your mouse through the different menu items, you'll see that we have a highlight in gray, so then what we're on, and then there is a tooltip that comes for you too that will show you some other functionality. Please note that your menu may differ in appearance based on you being a client of Exchange Bank. Right now I am logged on as a system administrator, so there is most likely going to be some functionality, and this menu is going to look more extensive than what you will see when you initially log in. So as we scroll through then, once you click in an item, you'll see it is highlighted in a lighter blue color, and then we will keep that and let you know what it keeps track so you know what screen you are clicked on if you happen to be moving throughout the menu here. As we scroll through here, I'm going to click this home icon. Before I do that, I'm going to click the question mark icon, and what that allows you to do is bring on the online documentation for the current screen you are viewing. So should you have a question about one of the fields or a definition of one of the line items of a screen you're looking at any time you can click that question mark, and it brings up the online documentation for you so you can reference all those fields within positive pay. You can simply click the X on the corresponding tab, and it takes you back to the screen. The home icon will take you back to as if you first logged into the application. So as we log in, you will see this here. The home takes you right back as if you first logged in. The bell over here keeps track of any notifications that are received throughout positive pay at any given time. Once you click the bell, it resets the number. However, as you're working through positive pay, should a number appear in the lower right-hand corner of that icon, much like the icon on your phone, it would mean that you have notifications, and you can go in and see the detail of those notifications without having to flip over to your Outlook or actually open up your Outlook. The gear will allow you to, by clicking that, will allow you to log out. That will be the only function you see there. Since I am a system admin, I have some other functions there. But you being a client of Exchange Bank, you will see the log out function. Over on the right-hand side, this toggle menu here, if you click that, it condenses the menu to the left-hand margin. So it gives you a bigger view of the screen or a page that you are looking at. At any time, you can hover over that menu and it expands. You can click through and make another menu selection. And then once you hover off of the menu, it condenses it back over to the left margin. If you click the toggle menu icon in the upper left-hand corner again, it will move the menu back over and lock it in place. The star, what that entails is this lets you favorite a page just like in your browser where you can favorite a certain site that you frequently visit. Similarly, in Positive Pay, you can favorite a specific page that you frequently visit by clicking that star and selecting Favorite Current Page. What that does is instead of scrolling down and searching for that page in the menu, you can come in and hit star and select your favorite, and it takes you right to that page. All right. So I'm going to click the home menu, and we're going to go through next some of the functionality that you will be doing on a daily basis within Positive Pay. So commonly what's going to happen is once Positive Pay completes, you will be sent a notification whether you have exceptions or not. And should you be sent a notification that has exceptions, you will go into your online banking platform, click the link to get into Positive Pay, and it will open a separate tab and take you to this screen. To view those exceptions and make a decision on those exceptions, the first thing we're going to do is come under Exception Processing. We're going to select Quick Exception Processing. And we'll go through this window here since this is the one that you will use right away, most likely in the morning here. So you'll see here all the exceptions are displayed in this instance by check number and amount, but they will be displayed by check number should they be an image or check image. You'll see here that below the update button that we are going to reiterate for you what happens if no decision has been made by the cutoff time. So 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time is when you need to have these exceptions complete. Should they go past that 10 o'clock hour with no decision made to them, the system will automatically assign a decision of pay to those checks. You can come into this screen and look at those items after the cutoff time. However, it will be read-only. So you will be able to see those exceptions, but they will be in a read-only status. You will be unable to change them. That decision at 10 o'clock is final. So within the window here, you can see that we have a tally amount over to the right here. So total exceptions, unprocessed exceptions, and processed. So as we go through and process these exceptions, the unprocessed number will decrease and the processed will increase until it matches the total exceptions. At that point, you can click Update, and that will update the decision of those exceptions for you. Should you, at an hour before cutoff time, should you have some exceptions that you have not decisioned, the application will send you an email notifying you that there are exceptions still waiting in the queue to having had a decision. They need a decision to be made. So you will be notified 1 hour prior to the cutoff time if you have not decisioned some or all of your items. You can also export this page to Excel, or if you would like to print this page, you can click the PDF icon here and select Print, and it prints this page out for you. So you can keep it for your own records. You'll see here moving across that we have account nicknames. So if you have multiple accounts, you can come in and select which account you want to view exceptions for, or you can look at all. And you'll also notice that we have account nickname here. So in lieu of broadcasting the account number in reports and emails, as your accounts are being set up in Positive Pay, they will be assigned an account nickname, and that's what we will send in the emails if you have exceptions or any other notification regarding this account. And then also any report, you will see here it says account nickname in here. So there's only going to be a very few number of instances within the application where you will be able to see the actual account number. It will be all behind the scenes for you so that we're not transmitting sensitive data across the internet. So the next item here, we were in here, how do we make a decision on these items? So as we scroll through here, you can see we have our account nickname, our paid date, our check number, our amount, issued payee if applicable, and exception type. So why did it exception? In this instance here, this item paid on the core the previous night, processed into positive pay, but did not find an outstanding issued check to match up against. So the system is questioning whether the customer actually issued that item. So we're allowing them to make a decision on it. So if I want to pay this item, I can go ahead and select the pay box here. I can at any time click update and you'll see that item removes itself from the screen. If I want to return an item, I can select return, and once I select return, I need to apply a reason why I'm returning it. If I select pay, no reason is needed. If I select return, I need to supply a reason why I'm returning that. If I don't and click update, a message will appear up here letting you know that that item has, it needs a reason attached to it. So what I'm going to do here then is select a reason, and I'm going to say this is a fraudulent check. The next item here, I'm going to come down and pay that item, and I'm going to select update. And at that point, all my checks are paid. You can see my unprocessed has gone down to 0, and my processed have gone to 3. So at this point, I'm complete with my exceptions. I like the way they are. I'm ready to move on. Should there be a case where I need to make a change on an item, and it is prior to the cutoff time, you do have the ability to go in and change a decision on an item. So for instance, I want to mark the one that I returned to pay instead of return. I can come into this hide exceptions already decisioned and uncheck, and then I can come in and select pay there and set the fraudulent to not selected and update that item. And you can do that at any time as long as it's prior to the 10 o'clock cutoff time. The next instance here that we're going to take a look at is some other items here for you as far as what you can do with submitting your outstanding issued check files. So on a daily basis, you're going to want to submit your outstanding issued checks to Positive Pay, either within a file that you can upload through this UI, or you can go in and manually add your checks one by one. To submit an issued check file, you can come in and select Submit Issued Check File, and the screen is going to walk you through the steps involved with uploading that file. So first off, you're going to browse out to your file. Where's the file you want to choose that you want to upload? So be advised you're going to want to know the location of that file, where it's stored either on your network or on your local machine, and you will need to be able to browse out to that file to upload it. Step 2, we come down to the account nickname. Which account do you want to upload that file for? So if you are able to provide the account number in the file, we can then tell our system where that account number is, and none of this data here will matter. It won't matter which account you select. If you would like to combine multiple accounts into one file, as long as the account number is part of that file, we can do that, and then you can upload one file for multiple accounts. Your file processing type, that will default in for you based on the format that is set up by Exchange Bank. So they will take an example of your file, set up what we call a mapping, which is basically a template based on the data within your file, and create that and assign it for you. Once that is complete, you can hit Process File, and that will go ahead and upload your outstanding issue check file for you. You will receive a message and an email notification back saying that your file has uploaded. Should your file reject or have exceptions, you will be displayed with the reasons why there was a problem with your file. Maybe you upload the wrong type, or maybe data has actually changed in that file to where we need to go out and adjust that template. So it will let you know if there is an issue with that file, and at that point we can take the steps to make a correction to the template so that you can upload that file. At any given time, should you decide that some files were missed, we can come in and add checks manually. So if I wanted to go in and upload 5 checks manually, or I know that I issue 10 checks a day and I really don't want to take the time to generate a file, I can come in and select what account I want to create that for. I can create the check number and the amount and the issued payee. And if I select this auto increment check number, if I have more than one check to issue, it will move this check digit number up by 1. So if I would hit Add Check Now, you can see here, I just added this check as an outstanding item. It bumped my issued check up by 1, and I'm ready for the next one. At any time, you can adjust this issue date. We will default in the date, the current date. If you need to backdate an item or forward date an item, if you click in that field, you are presented with a calendar that you can then select an alternate date other than current date. Excuse me. You'll see here that once we have a list of checks that we are entering, we can go ahead and print this list out if you would like to for your records by clicking the Adobe icon. It has you wait just a second, and then it generates a PDF file for you that you can then go ahead and print off or save off if you would like. Once you have all your items complete, you can select the home item or home icon, and it takes you back out to as if we just started again. So should you decide that you issued a check that needs a void placed on it, we can come out here and select our void check. We would select our account nickname and then enter the pertinent information in. So check number, and then our amount, and our issue date again as a calendar. So I issued that on a current date. And then what it does is it goes out and looks for a matching outstanding issued check. In this instance, we found the one that I just added manually, and once I select void check, it voids that check for me. So it now has a void status to where if that check would come in and pay, it would generate an exception. The check search function is next here, so at any point you can come in and do a check search also to find a specific check, or you can go out and find a number of checks. We have a number of fields here that we can use to filter the data, but if I'm looking for a specific check, and I can put that check number in the from and through range, I can select the status issued, paid, input, exception, void. I can select the check status, and I can select all clients if I want. So if I do a search here, it should bring me back the record of this item. You can also move these headers around by clicking and expanding these out. You can sort these by any of these arrows here, and you can come out and view the actual whole record. And in some instances, you will be able to edit the record also and delete the record based on the type of transaction it is. If you wanted to view the check image, this one is not going to have one, so it's an outstanding item, but if you wanted to view the check image and it had a status of paid, you could go ahead and you will have access to the check image. If you wanted to view the actual whole record here, you could come in and say your client, the account nickname, the check number amount, the payee, the void, the input date, the date the void was applied, and is it a reversal. So you have a good number of data here that we can take a look at. Now, if I decided that this one wasn't supposed to have a void on here, this is one that I actually need to issue, I can click this here and edit this record, and I can come in and remove this void date and save changes, and that actually removes the void status from this item. So it moves it back to an outstanding item, and then if this check would come in and match up against it, it would not generate an exception unless there was a difference between what they issued and what the check actually paid as. This box here, you can select and deselect columns to display. So right now we default all these columns in, but if you wanted to see input date, exception date, void date, decision, and then we have some more down here, you can select and then move your data headers around within this screen here. It does reset once you close out of the application. You would have to reset anything up. It's not a permanent change at all. Okay. The reverse positive pay extract is next on our list here, and what that allows you to do is go in and create a extract of paid items from positive pay that you can take and compare with what is outstanding either on your check record or your accounting software. So the extract that I have up here currently is an Excel format, all transactions. So this will show miscellaneous debits and credits, ACH transactions, fees, interest, federal withholding, everything like that. It will show that. Your extract from and through date is optional here. So if I wanted to select another date in here, I can go ahead and create my file and report. You can view the file and the report. So if you would like to view the report, this report shows you everything that was in there. It shows you whether it's a debit or credit, and it gives you the check number. So as we scroll through here, if you would like to, we can close this tab and we can look at the actual file, and then it will download the file for you. Let's jump it over to my other screen, and it will give you a little more detail as far as what that transaction was in the file itself. So these are all items that have come in from the core and actually paid. And when I say the core, the bank mainframe, let's go that route. So these are transactions that processed and posted to accounts. So you can see what's going on a daily basis, and that frequency is totally adjustable by you if you would like to. Okay. ACH Transaction Search. Once we get to the point where we're going to be doing some ACH transactions, we can bring in and look at ACH transactions. If you just click search, you'll see that there are some ACH in there, and it's going to display the standard entry class code, the company ID, whether it's a debit or credit, and the transaction description. So that is a future release, the ACH positive pay, but we are working to get that going for you and configured, and look for that at a future date. All right. The next features down here is we're going to look at some of our transaction reports, and that's what we're going to take a look at for you here now. So our transaction reports, we're going to go through and look at some that you would look at on a daily basis also. So daily checks issued summary, you can come in here and see if I wanted to see what was issued, 1025 to 1025, I can click that and you can see here's the 2 items that I actually issued. What this will also show you is if you import a large file, it'll list all of those items out for you so that you can then go in and take a look at those and again view the record. You can export this to a file, select the columns that you want, and then there's search. You can search within the grid here with this functionality also. If you would like to alter your search parameters here, you can click this tab and go back and select your issue date from and through and get more results. So you'll see here that it looks like there's some checks that were uploaded and you are able to go in and look at those. So the view record, you'll see there was 2 for $30.30 to Heather's account, cash management test client, and they were issued on 1025. The stops and voids report, what this will allow you to do is view any stops and voids that are currently in the system. So we will be downloading a file that contains stops. So any transactions that have had a stop applied to them through online banking or the core, we will download a refresh file every day, which means we will upload any stops, transactions with stop information via request, request and placed and expired. So you will see that information from time to time updated on a transaction that has had a stop placed on it. And you can see here for Heather's account, check number 416 for $12 had a stop placed on it. So, or those 2 were voided, and then there's a stop down here. So you will be able to get that information on a daily basis to view the status of that stop. The exception items report lets you go in and see what decisions were made on what exceptions. So you can come in here and look at the transactions that we exceptioned today. Please keep in mind that this is a next day solution. So the exception date should always be a day behind. And so we are talking about items that posted on the night of the 24th. With a posting date of 10/24, and they are being displayed the next day. So if you come in here and see this date and it's a day behind, that is correct. That's what we like to see, and then we would come in and hit our search, and we could come in and view all the items that were exceptioned for cash management. So again, at any time you can move these around to make items bigger. You can see why they exceptioned, who decisioned them, what the decision was, and if they returned them, what the reason they returned them for. So this is a very handy report to keep track of and see what's going on and who's making decisions. So in the other instance where I was talking about if an item is decisioned by one person and then that decision is changed by another, and for whatever reason there's a lack of communication on that, you can come in and view that report and see who made the final decision on that item. So it's a very handy report, and to see what's going on with those paid or returned items for you. The stale dated checks, if you click that, you can see all these stale dated checks, and what that's going to mean is checks older than 180 days that have not been paid yet. And if you come in here and select search, you can see we have some test ones out for those. If these items would come in and pay, and then process into our system, you would see stale dated exceptions processed for them. So the next items here are the account reconciliation, check reconciliation, and deposit reconciliation. So we have three types of reconciliation for you. Account reconciliation is a full account reconciliation, so you will see ACH transactions in there, checks, outstanding issued checks. You will see miscellaneous debits and credits, and some other types of transactions in there. The check reconciliation will be only checks, and the deposit reconciliation will be deposits only. If your customers have a location indicator on their deposit checks or deposit slips, we can run a reconciliation by deposit. We will recognize that location indicator, process that indicator in, and then you, the client, can go in and define those location indicator numbers, Main Street, Elm Street, and then you can see that account, what deposits are being made where, based on those location indicators on the ticket. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the full account summary. And what that entails is when that comes up is that it allows you to put a from and through date in for you. And once that process is in, we will be able to go in and see those transactions. I'm going to select home here to, oh, there we go. So account reconciliation summary, Heather's account, we'll go ahead and reconcile through the 24th. Hit select. And as you can see here, we have some issued checks, paid checks, voids, ACH debits and credits, miscellaneous debits and credits, and 7 deposits. So at any given time, you can come out here and look at these items. So if I wanted to look at my 2 voided items, I could come in here and on 1/1/2019, I had a voided item, and on 8/14/2019, I had a voided item. So I can go ahead and match those up. If I'm done viewing this screen, I can come back up and click this hide, and that goes away. If I wanted to come in and look at one of the items that has a good number of transactions in it, if I click show, you can see it breaks it out by day. So as we're scrolling through here, here we all are. So it gives you the date on those and all those transactions for you. I can select hide there, and that moves it away. Same with the deposits. If I wanted to see all those, if I had more than one transaction for that date, I could click show here, and it's going to show me that item. So show one, show one, show one. Here's all my deposits for those given days. So as you can see here, it brings that up and gives you just a little bit more detail in here with the location. So mobile capture deposit, mobile capture deposit. So in this instance, we can see that. Once I'm complete with this and I've matched everything up, you can see I have my current balance, my outstanding check amount, and my check register balance. So as you can see here, we can match those up based on what's going on up here, and then we can finish that reconciliation. And what that then does is moves it up to a box in the upper right-hand corner for a history location. So at this point, you can come in and select that date, and then you can view the reconciliation. From here, you can export this page out to Excel, or you can kind of scroll through and look at all those items that are included. And there's header titles in here too, so you can see what you're looking at as we scroll through here. So now I'm on the deposits. I can see that information. Should I want to go back and rerun this reconciliation, maybe extend my range, I can select clear. It asks me if I'm sure, and it clears that history out. And from here, I can hit cancel and adjust my date range if I would like. The check reconciliation summary, very similar. If I select that, you can see here it's strictly checks. So outstanding checks, issued checks, and paid checks. So the issued checks is going to tie in with the paid also. So you'll see those. Current outstanding means nothing has matched up to those. So, and very similar to this, you could finish reconciliation here, and it moves it over to the side. The next one down is the deposit reconciliation summary. So you can select your account that you would like, your date, and hit select. And as you can see here, we have total deposits. If I had any location indicators on there, they would be displayed here, and then you could manage those locations, meaning you could go in and define them. So by looking at that one, you would see an actual street name or branch name. By finishing this reconciliation, it moves it over to the top, and again, we can click the date for history reference and look at the summary of those deposits. All right. That is what I had today for Positive Pay. Appreciate everyone's time listening, and I hope this helps you. Any questions, please reach out to us, and we will get them answered for you. Thank you very much.